With the 2026 midterm elections still over a year away, Senate Democrats are already engaged in a feverish recruitment effort to win back control of the chamber. Currently facing a 53-47 Republican majority, Democrats see a challenging but possible path back to power. Their efforts received a major boost late last month in North Carolina, where former two-term Governor Roy Cooper announced his candidacy for the seat being vacated by retiring Republican Senator Thom Tillis. Democratic strategists believe Cooper, a popular former governor, makes the race in the crucial battleground state a top pickup opportunity and hope his entry will create a ripple effect, encouraging other strong candidates to run nationwide. The party's leadership, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and DSCC Chair Kirsten Gillibrand, are now turning their attention to Ohio. Schumer recently traveled to the state to personally court former Senator Sherrod Brown, hoping to convince him to challenge Republican Senator Jon Husted. Husted was appointed to the seat earlier this year after then-Senator J.D. Vance became vice president. Democrats view Brown, who lost his re-election bid last year in a state that has trended increasingly Republican, as their only viable candidate to make the race competitive. In other key states, the picture is mixed. In New Hampshire, four-term Congressman Chris Pappas has cleared the Democratic primary field in the race to succeed retiring Democrat Jeanne Shaheen. However, in Michigan, Democrats face a potentially divisive primary to replace retiring Senator Gary Peters. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, State Senator Mallory McMorrow, and progressive-backed Abdul El Sayed are all competing for the nomination. Their challenge is compounded by popular Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, who is running as an independent, potentially splitting the Democratic vote. Meanwhile, Republicans appear to have coalesced around former Congressman Mike Rogers, who has secured President Trump's endorsement. Democrats are also eyeing potential opportunities in Texas. They believe longtime Republican Senator John Cornyn could be vulnerable if he faces a serious primary challenge from the state's controversial Attorney General Ken Paxton. Democrats speculate that if Paxton wins the primary, his various scandals could make him a toxic candidate in the general election. However, the Democratic field there could also become crowded, with former Congressman Colin Allred already running, and figures like Beto O'Rourke and Joaquin Castro reportedly considering bids. While Democrats look ahead to the 2026 midterms, the Trump administration is focused on immediate diplomatic efforts to address the ongoing war in Ukraine. President Trump is reportedly open to meeting face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin as soon as next week. According to sources familiar with the plans, that bilateral meeting would be followed shortly after by three-way talks involving Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. The potential for direct negotiations comes just after U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff held what was described as a highly productive meeting with Putin on Wednesday. Following that discussion, President Trump took to his Truth Social platform, writing, "Great progress was made." He added that he had updated some European allies and stated, "Everyone agrees this war must come to a close, and we will work towards that in the days and weeks to come." The planned sequence of meetings suggests a new direct diplomatic push by the administration to broker an end to the conflict that has raged for years. The White House has not yet released official details regarding the time or location for these potential high-stakes talks. Back in Washington, the political fallout from President Trump's signature legislative achievement continues, with Republicans acknowledging they are struggling in the messaging war. With Congress now in its August recess, Republican senators are heading home to sell what President Trump has called his big, beautiful bill. But they face a unified Democratic opposition and unfavorable polling. Democrats have successfully branded the massive legislative package as the big, ugly betrayal, relentlessly attacking its cuts to Medicaid and food assistance programs. A Fox News poll from June found that 59% of Americans opposed the legislation. Some Republicans concede they were caught flat-footed. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson said his party should have been better prepared from the start to counter what he called Democratic lies, arguing they should have framed the changes as efforts to save and preserve Medicaid from damage done by the Affordable Care Act. Kansas Senator Roger Marshall echoed that sentiment, claiming that 90% of the media is lying about the bill and insisting that Republicans are actually increasing Medicaid spending. He urged his colleagues to lean into their message, that they are preserving the program for those most in need. Other Republicans, however, are suggesting a different tactic. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley argued that his party has spent too much time talking about Medicaid. He advised his colleagues to instead focus on more popular provisions, such as the bill's tax cuts for working people, including the elimination of taxes on tips. Hawley said that when he returned to his home state, voters were immediately asking when that specific tax cut would take effect. For his part, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville appeared unconcerned, dismissing the current messaging battle by saying, "There will be a lot of water underneath the bridge," and predicting there will be a couple more big, beautiful bills before voters head to the polls again. And while the debate over broad spending cuts continues, the administration is moving forward with specific changes to one of the nation's largest public assistance programs. The Trump administration has granted waivers to 6 more states, allowing them to ban the use of SNAP benefits for purchasing junk food, including soda and candy. The move is being hailed as a victory for advocates of the Make America Healthy Again initiative. The states receiving the new waivers are West Virginia, Florida, Colorado, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. This brings the total number of states with such restrictions to 12 after Nebraska, Iowa, Indiana, Arkansas, Idaho, and Utah received similar waivers earlier this year. The new rules are set to go into effect in 2026. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. praised the waivers, stating that for years, taxpayer dollars have funded products that fuel America's diabetes and chronic disease epidemics. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins also lauded the state-led efforts to improve the health and nutrition of the 42 million low-income Americans who receive food assistance each month. The specific restrictions will vary by state. All 12 will ban sugary drinks, while at least 8 will also prohibit candy purchases. Some states, like Florida and Louisiana, are explicitly banning energy drinks as well. However, the policy is not without its critics. ABC News medical correspondent Darian Sutton argued that there is no evidence that taking away access to soda will actually fight these conditions, suggesting that a broader focus on overall sugar consumption is more important. Beyond public health initiatives, the administration is also pushing a major technological modernization across the federal government, with a new focus on artificial intelligence. The federal government is set to broadly adopt artificial intelligence as the General Services Administration, or GSA, announced a new partnership with OpenAI. The deal makes the company's ChatGPT Enterprise tool available to all federal agencies for a nominal cost of just $1 per agency. Officials say the move is a key part of the Trump administration's AI action plan, which aims to solidify America's position as the global leader in the field. GSA Federal Acquisition Service Commissioner Josh Gruenbaum said the tool will help streamline productivity, automate routine tasks like data entry, and assist in identifying waste, fraud, and abuse. He emphasized that the rollout will be done responsibly, with legal and policy oversight, stating, "It's not just autopiloting." OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said the partnership will help public servants deliver for the American people. The initiative is part of the administration's 3-pillar AI strategy, which focuses on supporting American workers, ensuring AI systems are free of ideological bias, and protecting U.S. technology from being stolen or misused. This government-wide adoption of AI comes amid a massive private sector investment in the technology, highlighted by the Stargate project, a $500 billion commitment from OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank, and MGX to build AI data centers in the U.S. over the next 4 years.